that shuttle you across the Atlantic on back have been personified. They've been given names and personalities that are amusing. They tie into the heritage that Richard has around the music business. And I cannot remember the tail number of the Austrian Airlines flight that I took in here yesterday. I don't recall that. The plane had no personality. It wasn't part of that experience. Not that important. It was a very nice plane. But with these guys, they're just looking for that little edge that sets them apart. And it could be, again, staff on board. So again, a Flickr picture. Somebody here said, this guy made the difference to our holiday. And they take pictures like this. They actually include, now I'm not sure who's the lucky one. Or unlucky one. Personal grooming. The appearance. The hair impeccably tied. The uniform always in place. If I get the bus to Heathrow Airport, and I meet a Virgin Atlantic cabin crew, and I talk to them and ask them something like directions to the airport, they treat me as if I'm on board one of their aircraft, and they haven't even started the working day yet. So that service culture, that customer experience culture, is absolutely embedded. And they work very hard, and they put up with an awful lot of trouble down the back of the aircraft sometimes. And they like to have fun too. And as long as they don't do that when they're evacuating the aircraft, I have no problem with that. That's good fun. And it's a massive contrast with this. So this is the old days of airlines and aircrew, and it was all about pretty much nothing more than just how it looked. As long as they were impeccably turned out and had lovely tartan outfits, then they were okay. And it's a huge contrast with her. I don't know which airline she flies for, but I'm not sure I want to fly with them. And it may be that I'm just as likely to be sat next to someone like this as I am to be sat next to one of these guys. And part of the Virgin Atlantic experience, I guess, is that little frisson of glitz and glamour that I get, thinking that Christian Slater might be on my flight, or Claudia Schiffer, or Samuel L. Jackson. And which other airline would put a bar at 32,000 feet so that part of that holiday memory is to send that picture, beam it to your friends about how you enjoyed a beer or a virgin vodka on board an aircraft, hovering at 32,000 feet over the Atlantic. And if you're lucky enough to be sat in upper class, then they'll serve you your dinner with 2 little salt and pepper shakers, shaped like that. You can actually see those, right? I don't know whether you can see them. They're very sweet, they're very dinky, little aeroplanes. And you think, oh, I'll have those. I'll take those home for the kids. That'll be fun. And you turn them over, and on the bottom it has stamped, pinched from Virgin Atlantic, stolen from Virgin Atlantic. And you look at that and you say, somebody's just thought of a little magic touch that's just one step ahead of me. How nice is that? They've thought about my experience. I don't know if you recognise those. Looks like about 60-70% of the audience might recognise them. But even those couldn't be left alone, because when they opened the New York clubhouse, the lounge, they did this to them. And it caused so much uproar in New York City that they had to take them out again. Sometimes you have to bow to public pressure, I guess. And if things go wrong, and I don't mean that badly wrong, I mean this wrong, that's a Lufthansa sit back. Has anyone ever used one of those? Don't answer that. But there's Lufthansa sit back. Who flew here on Lufthansa, or has flown Lufthansa recently? More than Virgin Atlantic, okay. But it's a grey sit back. What does that tell you about Lufthansa as a brand? This is EasyJet's sit bag, which they've sold to somebody. They've sold advertising on their sit bag. It's a photography processing company, and at the top it says, "Don't be sick, come to Click." How typical is that? And here's KLM, plain white, and the new version of their sit bag, which for some reason has holes in it. And I'm not really sure if that's really been thought through that well. And in British Airways, you can be sick in about 8 different languages, which I always find very helpful. But on Virgin, they say, I tell you what, let's do a limited edition sit bag. We'll get some very well-known designers to come up with their ideas. And this is a very lovely scene that says, think of something else. Something lovely, something nice. But equally, they're not afraid to do something like that. And my personal favourite. I did wonder how many of those have got addressed to George W. Bush. The important thing is that this has a strong influence on people and the way they behave. And sometimes they might take that too far, as a man with I Love Virgin tattooed on his arm. I'm not sure if that was meant for Virgin Atlantic, but that's what I found. But they take pictures like this. This is a yellow taxi in New York City, and on the top is some Virgin Atlantic advertising that says, "This is not your complimentary limo." And somebody's written, "This is most definitely a taxi cab, and this is why I love Virgin Atlantic." So just something as simple as good advertising, thought through experience. So just thinking about somebody standing in the taxi line and looking at that. What could their alternative have been? This is a group of individuals who run a website. It's entirely devoted to Virgin Atlantic. Now, they're both Virgin Atlantic's biggest fans and also Virgin Atlantic's biggest critics, which is good. Ironically, they get together every year on the British Airways London Eye, which is that big wheel. But anyway. So I thought it'd be good to try to quantify how much love there is out there for this particular company, this particular brand. So I thought we'd use a Web 2 measure of love. It's very scientific. I spent many hours working this one out. And I typed "I love Virgin Atlantic" into a search engine. Other search engines are available. And this happened. We have 75 pages of results for "I love Virgin Atlantic." So I needed to benchmark that somehow, compare it. So I typed in their arch rivals, British Airways. So against 75 pages of results, we got 31 pages of results for "I love British Airways." I did try "I love BA, but it got too many 18 results back, so I had to discount that. But it wasn't enough for me to see them win, because Virgin Atlantic carry about 6 million passengers a year. So in airline terms, they are, and in the words of their CEO, they're a minnow, a very tiny fish in a very big pond, or big ocean. BA carry nearly 34 million passengers. So I normalised the results, and that's the result there. So that's how much people value the experience of Virgin Atlantic over their deadliest competitor. And when you look at BA, British Airways, they have more routes, they have more places, they have more aircraft, they're just about level in terms of product on board the airplane. But how much of a difference does that make